might have to take notes on this bitch. It is like crazy when it comes to guys, man. Child support is like one of the number one feared things in the world, and I just had to bring you on here to like break it down to some of the guys who
Yeah,
don't know
for
too
sure.
much about child support because when they get a girl and a girl threatening them with child support, they be want to know like the rules and the regulations to what's going on with child support, man. So I'm here to let you break it down a little bit. You feel me?
For sure, for sure.
Yeah. So one of the questions I want to ask you, man, I got it in my notes. I had to take some notes with it, but you
Okay.
know, I seen your Instagram and it said child support is fraud.
Right.
Like, is that true?
Yeah, child support is definitely fraud. And when people see the title, they like child support is fraud. They automatically think like, wait, take you saying like taking care of your kids is fraud?
Right.
Like nah, of course. Like why the hell would I say that? I'm a married man. I got kids. I love my kids. Like no, taking care of your kids is not fraud, but the actual
S-
child support system
system. Yeah.
itself,
Right.
yeah, it is fraudulent because it does not follow its own procedures.
Oh, okay. So me myself, I've been paying child support for over 18 years, and how I
Mm.
look at it is like it's almost like a way out for women who like want to run away from um actually letting you see the kids. I've been through a whole lot with females as far as what I mean. They meet somebody new, and after they meet somebody new, they don't really want your kids to see you because it might possibly make the new guy jealous. So they'll put you on
For
child
sure.
support and still give you a hard time with actually seeing the kid. So it's like you getting put on child support, then you try to go for visitation, then they playing this little, mouse and cat game, So it's just kind of crazy. But let's get into this second question,
And
man. Um,
it is wild.
so how did you get into child support though?
For me, um, it's a crazy story, and I'm gonna keep it short. But I found out about my child support case 7 years after it opened. Once I found out about the case, I found out about it on payday. I'm at my job. I'm getting paid. HR called me in. It's like, "Yo, Mr. Tillman, we want to talk to you." And I'm like, "Talk to me about what?" And they're like, "Well, we got an income withholding order." I'm like, "What the hell is that?" And they's like, "Well, we got an income withholding order, and they're gonna start garnishing your checks effective immediately." And I'm like, "Well, who's gonna start taking my checks?" And he like,
Yeah.
"Child support." I'm like, "Child support? What the hell you mean child support? I ain't got no damn child support." And he's like, "Well, look, here's a notice that they sent to us. You need to contact them." I contact child support, and they like, "Well, unfortunately, you had 6 months to respond, and this case has been active for 7 years." I'm like, "Wait, what the fuck do you mean 7 years? Like, how can?" And they's like, "Yeah, unfortunately, there's nothing that can be done pursuant to California Code X, Y, and Z. You have 6 months to respond. You may want to contact the courts, but as far as ain't nothing that can be done." I go through that whole process of I go to the court. I contact. They have this family law facilitator.
Right.
There's like the self help. When I go there and I'm like, "Yo, what's going on?" They pretty much tell me the same thing. It's like, "Look, under California Code X, Y, and Z, you have 6 months to respond. There's nothing that you can do," and that went on for another 13 years.
Damn.
So yeah, so now we're the first initial 7 years where I don't even know about the case, and then once they put me on child support, now I'm on for a whole nother 13 years of me under this false misrepresentation that there's nothing that can be done until one day everything changed, and I never looked back
Right.
from that day.
I ain't gonna lie. I was working at a job one time and I was getting paid good money. And you know how like you getting paid good money and you like brag to your family and their family, and you know what I mean. It's almost like they went behind my back and like was like, okay, he getting good money and let me go put him on child support. And like you said, the same with me. I only knew from like they calling me back in HR and was just like, oh, you have a company that's going to be withholding money from you and this and that. And
Hmm.
they
Hmm.
actually took the money first, though. I didn't even know that they took the money. Like, I got my check, and my check was low as hell. I'm like,
It was short,
what the
yeah.
hell? Like, I'm like, I said, how am I going to get to work and how I'm going to like eat and do this? I'm like, bro, it was so crazy though. I was just like, damn, they literally taking most of my whole check every week. So that's what made me
Yeah,
like just say, damn, like I want to get more into child support, like learning about it, because I'm like I'm paying child support and I'm doing for my kids. So why am I like I don't get while I'm doing double, like what's the double for? That's what made me feel like women use that to like for their self, not really for the kids. But with in
yeah,
your
and that's the thing too, and that's why that's also too like why like people always ask like kind of to go back. It's like we take care of these kids, but you still put us on child support.
right,
Now, I understand if a person have shown you something that you may like, man, they ain't really been here, but if I've that person's been there and y'all separate or whatever the case, like what's the that person never gave you anything that they wouldn't even take care of their kids. So why you even go the whole route of putting them on child support if that's the situation? And my thing is like, dog, I don't advocate for any parent to not take care of their kids.
right.
But what I do is challenge the child support system to make sure that it follows its own procedures.
No, exactly. So in your situation, did you hire an attorney?
No, I didn't hire an attorney. First and foremost, because I didn't have the money to hire an attorney. Like just keeping it 1,000. When I found out about the case, I was on GR. I'm on general relief. I'm working for the county at that time.
Right.
The money that they start taking, it came from the county. So, but thankfully, I'm glad I didn't hire an attorney. I'm glad I didn't have the money to hire an attorney because if I did at that point, I would have fucked myself in the long run. Because at that point, they said, if you when a person hires an attorney, you're recognizing the court's authority and you're giving them jurisdiction over you. So because it's a process, that summons that they send out, that's an offer letter. You have the right to decline or you can accept it. So most people when they see it, the way it's worded, you're looking at it thinking like, oh, I have to do this. No, you don't. It's a contract. Chase can't enter you into a contract. American Express can't just force you to be into a contract. You have to consent to that. So
Right.
hiring an attorney, when you do that, you're waiving all of your rights and you're recognizing the court's authority. You're giving them jurisdiction over you, and at that point, you have just made something called a general appearance.
Wow. Okay. What's the difference between a general appearance and a special appearance?
I'm glad you asked that question because that's a big thing. So, a general appearance is when a person first comes to court for any reason that recognizes the court's authority. You're waiving all of your rights and you're giving them jurisdiction over you.
Right.
A special appearance says, I'm only here to examine the evidence against me. I'm not waiving any of my rights and I do not consent to your authority. I can come here to examine the evidence and face my accuser and not waive any of my rights.
Right.
Now, in my situation, during those 13 years, at one point they suspended my license. And I go to them and I say, hey, I need my license. And they said, well, they released my license. But at that point, they said I made a general appearance because I recognized their authority and I came to them asking for relief. So when you come asking for relief, you made a general appearance and you waiving all your rights because they didn't have the right to enforce this on you until you consented to it. So
Damn.
general appearance and special appearance, they are very tricky. And when you hire an attorney or just when you show up to that hearing for any reason that recognizes their authority, you waiving all your rights and you giving them jurisdiction over you.
That's wild.
It's crazy.
So if child support is voluntary, who goes to jail and gets their license suspended?
So how does people go if child support is voluntary? How does people go to jail?
Yeah. Or get their license
Okay.
suspended.
Got it. So again, through general appearance. So a general appearance says that you're waiving all of your rights. Child support is voluntary because you have to consent to participate in the program. When you
Right.
look at the with the general appearance, it says that and when you recognize their authority for any reason, you waiving your rights. When you make a special appearance for any reason, at that point, your rights are